Ever feel that little prickle on the back of your neck when you're home alone? That sudden certainty you're not as alone as you thought. Tonight, we're diving into 3 true stories from people who experienced exactly that. These aren't just spooky tales, they're real events that turned a quiet night into a living nightmare. So, lock your doors, check your windows, and settle in. Our first story comes from a woman named Chloe, who was house-sitting for a wealthy family in a huge, isolated mansion. The first few nights were peaceful, almost boring. She'd watch movies, explore the library, and enjoy the silence. But on the 3rd night, things changed. Around midnight, she heard a faint scratching sound. It seemed to be coming from inside the walls. She tried to ignore it, telling herself it was just an old house, settling, or maybe a mouse. But the scratching grew louder, more frantic. It moved from the living room wall, down the hallway, until it stopped right outside her bedroom door. Her heart was pounding. Her breath, listening. Then, a low whisper slithered from under the door. It said her name. Chloe. She froze, completely paralyzed by fear. She spent the entire night huddled in the corner of the room, listening to the scratching and whispering just outside. When the sun finally came up, the sounds stopped. She bolted from the house and never went back. The family later told her the house had a history, but they never elaborated. Chloe is convinced something was trapped in those walls, something that knew her name. Next, we have a story from a college student named Mark. He was living in an off-campus apartment by himself for the first time. One evening, while studying, he heard his front door creak open. He thought maybe his landlord was stopping by, so he called out, "Hello!" No answer. He cautiously walked to the front of the apartment and found the door wide open, swinging slightly in the breeze. He was sure he had locked it. He shut it, double-checked the deadbolt, and went back to his desk, feeling a little uneasy. A few hours later, he decided to make some coffee. As he walked into the kitchen, he stopped dead. All of his kitchen knives, which were usually in a wooden block on the counter, were gone. A cold dread washed over him. He slowly backed out of the kitchen, his eyes scanning the apartment. That's when he saw it. A dark figure was standing in the shadows of his living room, perfectly still, just watching him. Mark didn't scream. He didn't even breathe. He just turned and ran out the back door, not stopping until he reached a friend's place, miles away. The police investigated, but they never found any sign of a break-in, and the knives were never found. Mark moved out the next day. He never slept in that apartment again. Our final story is perhaps the most chilling. It's from a user who simply calls herself Jenna. She was 16 and home alone for the weekend. Her parents were out of town. Saturday night, she was watching a movie when her phone rang. It was an unknown number. She ignored it. It rang again. And again. Annoyed, she finally answered. All she could hear was heavy, distorted breathing on the other end. She hung up, creeped out. A minute later, she got a text from the same number. It was a picture. Her heart dropped into her stomach. It was a photo of her, sitting on her couch, taken from outside her living room window. She scrambled to the window and peered out into the darkness, but saw nothing. She locked all the doors, closed all the curtains, and called the police. While she was on the phone with the dispatcher, another text came through. This one just had 2 words. "I see you." The police arrived quickly and searched the property, but they found no one. They did, however, find footprints in the garden bed right below her living room window. The person was never caught. Jenna says that to this day, she can't shake the feeling of being watched. 3 ordinary nights, 3 terrifying intrusions into the safety of home. It just goes to show, sometimes the real monsters are the ones on the other side of your door, or even closer. Thanks for watching. If you have a true scary story of your own, share it in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more true horror. Stay safe out there.